Hello, my name is Paul Hensel, and today I will be talking about my presentation called Limiting Congress's Terms. The purpose of my presentation is to discuss the pros and cons of setting term limits, and to show the different reasons behind the thoughts of implementing these terms. My thesis for this project is to persuade people into thinking of whether or not implementing term limits for the Supreme Court justice would be a good idea for our country. My main reason behind why several people believe terms should be put into place for these governmental officials is that it keeps new ideas within the government open and working. New ideas bring new bills, and new bills can help improve the country. Another reason that it helps those currently in office keep a healthy mindset, because if one was to spend a large portion of their life doing the same thing over and over, eventually it takes effect to their way of thinking. As I mentioned earlier today, bringing in new people means bringing in new bills that could potentially become a law, which overall allows for change in our government, which is certainly is never a bad idea to have. The main pros behind bringing in term limits for these officials is because it helps people stay up to date on current issues our country faces. Usually, the people who begin a new term in office will be younger than ones who leave, providing more people who are familiar with multiple topics. Another positive side to this topic is it would balance out the legislative and executive branches, making sure neither one tries to overpower the other. Additionally, it will prevent political manipulation towards elections and keep from having individuals use their office to their own selfish purposes. Looking at this chart to the right of the page, this chart shows a status of approval and disapproval of how the Supreme Court is handling their jobs. The dark green line on the top shows the percentage that approves, and the bottom light green shows the disapproval. A few of the cons that are setting terms would force great leaders to retire from their office, no matter how well they are doing in office. Another is that change the level of experience in the court. It is said that it takes 6 months to get a new job down and another 6 months to become great at it, taking a large amount of time away from what's important. And finally, setting terms would take away from how the four founding fathers intentionally wanted the government to be like. This was their making, and that is what is followed. These negative points were found from vida.org personal financing. A few important additional pieces of information to know is that there are statistics that show 75% of people surveyed agreed with setting term limits for those in lifetime appointed offices. It is that way. It's the way it is, and that's how it has looked like it's going to be for a long time. There has been talk about changing the law about it for a few representatives, but is most likely to never happen. If you take a look at this chart to the right, you can see that from the years 1975 to 1999, the average age of the member was 82 years old. This information came from the published website Thought Company. Overall, to conclude, change is a good thing and it helps keep things fresh. However, terms may never happen for the Supreme Court justice, even though a large number of people surveyed to install them. And finally, the government continues to serve our country with the knowledgeable leaders that we have today. Thank you for listening.